Applications are now closed for the new judicial seat in Fort Frances, and the local law association is looking forward to having a judge in the community, as according to the association, there hasn't been a provincial judge there for more than a decade. Lee Noonan has more.
The Rainy River District Law Association has long been pushing for a judge to be appointed in Fort Frances. They say there hasn't been a judge living in town since 2012, causing a number of negative impacts on the local justice system.
Sometimes it's just simple stuff like your judge needs to be able to return home before it gets dark, and therefore your court has to adjourn, and your client's matter doesn't get reached that day on the docket, or gets adjourned an entire month till the next available day. It shakes confidence in the administration of justice when people show up to court and don't feel like they're being heard, don't feel like everyone has really had time to absorb the material, and feel like they're being ushered out of the room too quickly.
Judson says he's optimistic that the appointment of a provincial judge locally will allow for a, quote, full-service justice system for the Rainy River District.
Well, I think by having a judge based in your court, you have someone presiding who becomes familiar with the community, understands the different areas of the region that they serve, understands, just things that go without saying sometimes about where stuff is located and, what the history of different communities, particularly local Indigenous communities, might be. And they get to sort of invest themselves into the local justice system and the fabric of the programs we're developing.
The separation of powers between government and courts complicated the process, says Judson, with Queen's Park controlling the purse strings, but courts determining where and when to appoint new judges. The pandemic, however, and the introduction of virtual court actually strengthened their case.
Before, when we'd sometimes get the argument, well, the Fort Frances court isn't busy enough to have a judge based there. Now we can say, well, if you base a judge here, they can fill gaps in other jurisdictions remotely because we have the technology to do that now.
Judson doesn't know when the new judge will be announced, but he hopes that whoever gets the job, they're ready to put down roots in Fort Frances. Lee Noonan, TBT News.